Before the start of the school year, Tomo confesses her love for June. However, he completely misinterprets the confession, as June thinks Tomo is a boy, but in reality, she's a girl. Since they were kids, Tomo and June have been neighbors. However, they never went to the same school until they reached middle school. There, Tomo was shocked to realize that June always thought she was a man. In her classroom at school, Tomo vents her frustrations to Masuzu, who claims she's getting just desserts for acting tomboyish all her life. However, Masuzu levels with Tomo and starts off by advising her to talk with a softer tone. Tomo would do this around lunch with June, but he claims she sounded like an old man. This causes a scuffle between the two, where Tomo knocks June out after he grabs her collar. After school, Tomo returns home and gets into a heated argument with her father about the scratches on her face from fighting June. The following day, June and Tomo walk to school together, and June tries to patch things up between himself and Tomo. At first, Tomo acts abrasively when he fondles her, but they patch things up when June confesses his life would be too boring without her. On the other hand, Tomo notes that June is still unaware she's a girl. During lunch, Masuzu asks why Tomo always eats with her when she walks to school daily with June. However, June claims that people would think they're dating, so Masuzu suggests they eat their lunch with June, much to Tomo's dismay. As they eat lunch with June, Tomo notes how Masuzu and June hate each other's guts. She also feeds the interested June a piece of her fried chicken, and his lips touch her chopsticks, making her unable to use them. Afterward, Tatsumi approaches June and asks how far he's gone with Tomo. However, June misinterprets Tatsumi's questions, which Masuzu overhears and facepalms over. She later informs Tomo on the school rooftop about the conversation between Tatsumi and June. The revelation infuriates Tomo, and she accosts and beats up June over the comments he told Tatsumi. As Tomo did that, Masuzu approached Tatsumi and clarified Tomo and June's relationship. Furthermore, she dissuaded Tatsumi from trying to hook them up, claiming she was the only one who could play with them. Pouring rain outside, Masuzu meets with June at the school entrance, who had also forgotten his umbrella. They plan to fight for one from Tomo, and as they waited for her, they reminisce about the old days when they played together. Their conversation then changes to why June hasn't joined any school clubs, and Masuzu strikes a nerve by mentioning the possibility of Tomo finding a boyfriend. June then pushed her into the rain. When Tomo arrives, Masuzu insists that Tomo walk home with June, much to her chagrin. When they do, a scene where June notes how good Tomo smells occurs, causing Tomo to run away in a panic. June would soon regroup with her, but after seeing her soaking wet body, she returned her umbrella and frantically ran off, leaving Tomo confused about why. Tomo has joined her school's karate club and sparred against her senior, Kusuke, who internally notes his admiration for her as she knows him. The two would later discuss why she joined the male karate club after being ostracized by the female one. To that, Kusuke compliments Tomo as being feminine, which relates to her, and asks what is so charming about her. Kusuke becomes flustered but answers that she's charming as she is. After school, Ogawa and Mifune, two of Kusuke's admirers, catch him with Tomo and declare they'll break the two up. The following day, Masuzu informs June about Tomo's new friend, who is a male. He later asks Tomo about him. However, when he's shown a picture of Kusuke, June thinks he's a girl. Afterward, Ogawa and Mifune confront Tomo and demand that she meets with them after school behind the gym. Tomo interprets the confrontation as a fight challenge and warns them she doesn't like half-ass fights, which terrifies the two. Ogawa and Mifune would later ask a couple of their classmates about Tomo, and they confess their fear of her. In the other classroom, Tomo talks to Masuzu about her altercation with Ogawa and Mifune. Masuzu claims they're not into a fistfight, but a debate, and advises her on how to approach it. After school at the designated location, Tomo meets with the terrified Ogawa and Mifune. They confess their admiration for Kusuke, and Tomo believes they wanted to ask her for love advice, which had her overjoyed with relief. As a condition for her help, Tomo asked Ogawa and Mifune to be her friend, and they agreed. The following day, Tomo informs Masuzu about her encounter with Ogawa and Mifune and later gets roped into walking to the school store with June. Tomo and June take the train home, where they briefly sit together, but Tomo becomes too flustered by sitting next to June standing up. Tomo notes how June still doesn't treat her like a girl. Soon, someone starts to grope Tomo, but she doesn't want to cause a scene with June. He, however, noticed the groper and then confronted and later led the person to the police. As they walk home together, Tomo believes that June is now properly treating her like a girl, until he suggests she stop wearing skirts. The following day, Tomo informed Masuzu about the groping situation and June's rude comment about her skirt. In Masuzu's opinion, Jun's comment was to help her avoid getting groped again, which she backtracked after Tomo questioned if it was true. Misuzu then notes that Tomo's skirt is too short. Although Tomo argues that she likes it that way as it's easier to move around. So to prove her point, Misuzu suggests that Tomo take off her shorts. Initially, Tomo is against it, but Misuzu convinces her to do it and later informs Jun that Tomo wants to walk home with her. Later, Jun met with Tomo, who earnestly tried to keep her skirt down. As they walk to the train, Tomo tries to start a conversation with Jun, who blatantly ignores her. On the train, Jun has visions that the passengers are pervertedly looking at Jun while walking by the riverway. Tomo confronts Jun over his reluctance to acknowledge her, and during it, a gust of wind blows that reveals her panties to Jun, causing him to faint. Jun would later have a heart-to-heart about how he feels about Tomo's skirt. The next day during gym, Tomo informs Misuzu about her encounter with Jun the other day. Misuzu would later goad Jun into meeting with Tomo and would watch their interaction from afar. Tomo asks Misuzu about the school idol Carol about what makes her so popular. In Misuzu's opinion, Carol's popularity isn't solely based on her appearance, but also her personality, which naturally draws the opposite sex to her, making them defenseless. Later, Tomo contemplates Misuzu's opinion. She runs into Kusuke and Carol. It's revealed that Carol is not only related to Kusuke, but they're also engaged. Carol also thought that Tomo was a guy, but once it was clarified that Tomo was a girl, Carol suspected that Tomo had feelings for Kusuke. Carol then followed Tomo around and called her a dummy. Misuzu asked Tomo if Kusuke was around when she first encountered Kusuke, and she answered he was, but she still had no clue as to why Carol was so mean to her. Afterward, Carol approaches Misuzu, who asks for advice on how to defeat Tomo. Misuzu instead relays her to Jun, who she confronts in the boys' locker room. Later, Carol asks Jun to help her defeat someone, and Jun agrees to help pump her up within a month to make her become stronger. Jun and Carol's interactions with each other leaves Tomo astonished and emotionally overwhelmed, which she takes out on Misuzu. Meanwhile, Jun begins training Carol, starting with jogging, but she can only go a short distance. Elsewhere, Tomo participates in her karate club activities. Back to Carol and Jun, who have her try weightlifting in the gymnasium, but she can't do any of them. But Carol notes that she can do jump rope, so Jun has her do some. Soon Tomo arrives and sees Carol and Jun in an awkward position. Tomo then accosts Jun over it, and after seeing their interaction together, Carol proclaims she lost and quits her training with Jun, leaving the two perplexed. Riding in a limousine with Carol, Misuzu is taken to a cafe where Carol and she enjoy cake. There, Carol asks to be Misuzu's friend, and she suggests being Tomo's friend instead. The next day, Carol meets with Tomo, who after having flashbacks of being rejected by her peers after she asked to be their friend. To her surprise, Tomo happily agrees, which elates Carol, and then asks Misuzu too, and she agrees as well. Tomo would later tell Jun about her and Misuzu becoming friends with Carol, and he admits that Misuzu and Carol are popular among the guys. Furthermore, he accidentally reveals that he dated Misuzu during middle school. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe.